let's talk Honda Civics. But not just any Honda Civics. Yes, you are all aware with the Civics that came onto the scene and really became popular in the 90s when Hector found out you could run spoon engines and Gab Dominic Toretto.
I just went in there and Hector is gonna be running 3 Honda Civics with spoon engines.
But regardless, these cars became massively popular and still are massively popular with the aftermarket tuning culture because of the K and B series being able to make monstrous amounts of power for dirt cheap, or at least they were dirt cheap. Now, if you want to find an EK Civic from the 90s with a manual transmission, you're looking at a couple $1,000s, which isn't that expensive, but they used to be $500. Guys, these are 30-year-old economy crap boxes, alright? They should not be a couple $1,000s, but let me tell you what you can get for sometimes cheaper, but at least for the same price. That's way better. It's actually faster than the Civic Si. It comes straight from America. This car is the American response to the Civic, and that's way better than the Civic. It's supposed to compete against the Civic Si, but it didn't really compete. It kind of just destroyed the Civic Si. This car is the Chevrolet Cobalt. Now, yes, the Cobalt isn't all that interesting. In fact, it was kind of like the Civic in a lot of ways. It had 2-door and 4-door variants, automatic and standard transmissions. They were kind of reliable. The 2.2 and 2.4 liters weren't all that reliable, let's be real. I'm a Chevy guy, but they kind of sucked. But regardless, they were very similar to the Civics in that way. They even kind of looked like Civics. I think they might have looked a little worse. Chevrolet did something that would change the game forever. They introduced the Chevrolet Cobalt SS. Now, this car was like the Chevrolet Cobalt, except it wasn't. It had a different engine. It had a 2-liter LSJ with a supercharger or turbocharger, depending on the year that you got. It had a standard 5-speed manual transmission. You could not get an automatic transmission in these. They gave it a big wing. I don't know if it was actually functional or not. Gave it an improved looking bumper. Didn't look all that great, but they gave it a different bumper. They gave it beefier suspension, better wheels and tires. They did all around an amazing job turning this car from an economy poop box into a car that's actually cool, actually worthwhile, and it was reliable and fuel efficient. It got amazing gas mileage, and this car was not just a Civic Si competition. It destroyed the Civic Si because it set the lap record in the Nürburgring, and it was not broken. For a front-wheel drive manual car on the Nürburgring, it had the fastest lap time from 2008 until 2017, when the Type R finally trumped it. But it took Honda over a decade of engineering to develop the Type R to destroy a 10-year-old Chevrolet Cobalt. Yeah, that's right. These cars were insane. The supercharged motors had a little bit less, but they all had about 260 horsepower. The supercharger has a crazy whine. Wing, wing. And the turbocharger has a They both sound amazing, and they can both be made to sound even louder. They can both be also made to make a lot of power, just like the K and B series. And since they are the LSJ, I always call them half of an LS. I can say that. I have a Corvette. 260 horsepower. It's like half of 350 horsepower, but it's not, because it's more like 2/3 of it, which is so much power in a car that is not that heavy, in a car that is completely and totally engaging. It's one of the most engaging cars I have to drive. When that car is running, I currently blew up the motor, but when it was running, it was more fun to drive than my Corvette that I have. And the thing is, it didn't blow up because it just blew up. I mean, I was doing dumb stuff in it. I mean, it's probably on me. We're not sure, but it was probably on me. Let's be real. But it's such a driver's car. It's so driver's focused while also being extremely comfortable. And it's got interior parts from the C6 Corvette. It's got way cooler seats than the stock Cobalt. It's got Pioneer sound systems. It really is, for 2006, kind of a nice car to be in. It's a nice cabin, I'm not gonna lie. It's got leather on the doors, which is very, very rare for plastic American vehicles. It's insanely tunable. These cars are loved by enthusiasts, and they're the ultimate sleeper because they're still a little bit ugly, even though I think they look better than the Civics, especially the SS. And people don't really know about them. You know, people know about the Civics from TikTok, but these cars aren't really on TikTok, even though there's multiple aftermarket companies, mostly being ZZP, that make every single part for this car ever that's an OEM part, but they also make a ton of aftermarket performance parts. Tons of different kinds of turbos, tons of intercoolers, tons of downpipes, multiple different kinds of supercharger upgrades, whatever you want to do. Forged pistons, forged rods, headers, heads. They make straight up heads for higher RPM if that's your jam, if you really want to go full K series with this. But what makes the LSJ so cool is it can handle 500 horsepower safely with proper tuning on stock internals, just like the K series. And it can handle a bit more power than the B series. This car really was the American Civic. It might not have had all of that Japanese reliability, but it's still pretty dang reliable. And they still are a little underappreciated, which is good because I was able to get mine in a perfect running and driving example with no issues aside from a broken parking brake cable, which was an easy fix, for $3,000. Super great. Lasted me through most of high school, and I probably blew it up. And these cars can be way more reliable than that if you know where it comes from and if you don't hog on it. But let's be real, you're gonna hog on it. These motors aren't that expensive. They're pretty easy to work on them and you can get your hands in there. And parts are everywhere. They're super available, and what's amazing about them is they share so many parts with the stock base Cobalt and the Cobalt LT, which are all over junkyards and are all over eBay, so you can get all the parts you want for dirt cheap. That's also the case with Civics, but those things are also gone through hard every single time one hits the junkyard. They're just picked apart, and it doesn't leave a whole lot of options for us car guys. So if you want a cheap front-wheel drive sports car that has manual transmission, a lot of tuning potential, amazing handling, and a great chassis for overall improvements, look no further than the Cobalt SS. If you want a Civic, you can get a Civic. I would not get a Civic. I'd get another Cobalt any day of the week. They sound better, look better, and they're way better right out of the gate and have higher potential than a Civic. Yeah, everyone can make the argument, well, people from the K series make 1,000 horsepower. I guarantee if you spend 10 grand on an LSJ, you'll be knocking the socks off of a K series with the same amount of money. They're just that good. They're just that good. It's the American K series. And if you want a bonus reason for why you should get this car, there are kit cars out there for them that make them even better. One notable is the DF Goblin. It takes this car, makes it mid-engine, and makes it handle as good, if not better, than an Aerial Atom with twice the power and with the mid-engine configuration, and just as light as an Aerial Atom. And if you don't know what an Aerial Atom is, it's basically a Mazda Miata kit car that's on steroids and handles on rails. This is the same thing, but with more power and made in America. So I don't know what else you could want. Civic, there's not a exoskeleton car, Formula tube chassis inspired car for the Civic as far as I'm aware of that is as good as the Aerial Atom or the DF Goblin. And Mazda Miatas are just stupid expensive, so don't even get me started on those. But the Chevrolet Cobalt SS is our hero car, and you should still get them while they're cheap, because even though they're cheap now, people are slowly starting to wake up that these cars exist. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? And I've started to see their prices rise a little bit on Facebook Marketplace, but you can still get them for $3,000, $3,500, $4K for a nice-ish one. If you really want to get like a mint one, $6K. And I mean, for a mint Civic that has less than 150,000 miles, you're probably going to be paying $7K. So regardless, these cars are cheaper. And that's for a base Civic, like base 4-door automatic. If you want like a base 2-door 5-speed Civic, you're looking way more than that. If you want a Civic Si, say goodbye to being under 10K if you want a clean one. You can get a clapped out one. You can always get a clapped out car. Getting a clapped out car is never a good idea. I did it with my Corvette. Terrible idea. Do not do it. But it's a mistake that we all have to make eventually. But save yourself this mistake and get a Cobalt SS. It's even better to get a clapped Cobalt SS than a clapped Civic. They're that much better. Seriously, guys, if you guys have never heard about the Cobalt SS, do some research on them. They're insane. Some people have made some wild cars on them. These cars have beat Hellcats, they beat Corvettes. They're a rocket on the drag strip, they're a rocket on the track. You can do whatever you want with these cars. They're amazing. They don't have quite as many aftermarket companies as the Civic, but ZZP and a couple others hold down the fort well enough where you get literally every part you want ever. And they're not that expensive for pistons, for heads, everything. They're well priced, good quality. I bought parts from them, hand welded, amazing headers, some of the nicest headers I've ever had, even nicer than the headers I got on my Corvette. I'm telling you guys, the community is insane. The forums are insane. The people are so helpful on Facebook groups. They're some of the nicest owners I've ever met. I straight up was having problems with putting my engine back together and everything. I went to one of the my neighbors who had a Cobalt SS, and I asked if I could look at his engine bay and figure out where some of the things were that I was missing and see what I needed to get this thing going again, and he said yes. They're amazing. It's an amazing platform, it's an amazing community. Go out there, get a Cobalt SS, and if you hate it, you can sell it for what you got it for. Then make sure you drop me a sub and a like. I am trying to hit 5,000 subs by the end of the year, hit 100K net worth by the end of the year, and buy the supercar kit car for my cheap Corvette, all by the end of the year, or I'll make myself go homeless. And unless you want to see me go homeless, help your boy out. I hope I see you around. If not, it's been real. I love you, children of the covenant. Hopefully I see you on the next one. Stay blessed. Love the Lord. Open the word. Catch you on the next one. Peace.